All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freemium Podcast. Today we got in the house Jonathan Mills. We briefly met at the M Real Estate Fête d'Hiver. Jonathan is a professional custom suit maker, or tailor, I should say.
Love it.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for being here. And so what were we just talking about a little bit earlier?
We were talking about the thread count.
Yeah, thread count.
Yeah.
Let's jump into that right now. So like when it comes to suits, the higher the better. And does it always like have to be wool?
No. You have linens, you have silks, you have different styles of different types of wool. So you have mohair, you have a lot of different materials.
What's mohair?
Mohair is just another, so there's sheep, there's goat. You can derive the fabric from both. Mm-hmm. Mohair is just another fiber. It's a bit stronger, a bit thinner. And it's more breathable, gives it a shine sometimes. So some people opt for that. And then you have your basic wools, and there's worsted wool and merino wool, and there's a million different names for everything.
What do you have on right now? That's a really nice jacket.
Thank you.
Does this guy look fresh?
I made
like
this.
You dress fly. It's very.
I made this for today.
Actually,
I'm
you should have gone like, well, yeah, fuck yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I?
No.
Okay, what do you got on right now?
So this is a wool out of Italy.
Okay.
It's got like a bit of cashmere in it, so it's soft.
Okay.
See those kind of filaments there?
Yeah.
It gives off different hues of blues and blacks, so it can be very, very complex in that sense. Good for like days like this where it's minus a million outside.
Yeah, it's cold outside.
But obviously, like I would never wear this in the summer because it'd be too hot.
Okay. So something like that would. And did you make this or you bought this?
No. We make everything.
Okay. And everything you wear, I would assume you make everything you wear, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay. And so something like that would, because I want to get a jacket. Or Justin Como was talking to me. I'm going to keep dropping his name because I want him to come on the podcast.
Shout out to Justin.
Yeah. I'll text him. Like we'll be talking. There's dialogue or over email and stuff. And he'll be like, okay, hey, we'll talk about other stuff, business or whatever. And then whenever I ask him the question, okay, so the pod, and just radio silence. He always says, okay, one day I'll come. But anyways, they've been they were talking a lot, him in particular, about this coat.
Yes.
It's like a custom made coat.
Loves that coat.
So he said it's not cheap, but it's absolutely worth it. So Michael, like for something like this, how much would that cost? $1,000 or $1,500?
This one probably like closer to $1,500.
$1,500?
Yeah.
Okay. And that takes like how long to make?
Usually it's about 4 to 6 weeks, we say.
Okay.
When it's busy during wedding season, so our wedding season is usually between, let's say, March and October.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a little bit longer because there's a big influx, and there are people making these things.
Yeah.
So if she can only, stitch up 8 sleeves per day, doing 16 isn't to my advantage. So sometimes there's a little bit of a longer lead time, let's say.
And all the people, like, are the workers here in Montreal?
100%, all in our shop.
Everything's based here. Right?
Everything. Super important to us.
Okay. So let's back up. So let's just talk about, like, give us an overview of what it is that you do, because...
So we're clothiers. We make custom clothing. We also do kind of off-the-rack stuff. We do private label. So for people that have suit stores in the city, in different cities, we're actually the ones that manufacture them. We put their labels on them. We have contracts where we obviously can't say their names, and we do that side of the business too.
So you like do some manufacturing is it referred to as manufacturing? Is that what you call it, or?
Yeah. I
guess so. You'll do manufacturing for like some brands.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Private designers.
And they'll just slap their logo on at the end, and you think that brand made the suit when in fact they didn't, and Jonathan Mills and his team
100%.
made the suits. Really?
Sometimes people will come to me and I buy my suits here, and I go, continue to support him. They make great stuff.
And you're the guy making the suits.
Yep.
Wow.
So that part is challenging sometimes, but it's a way to keep the shop busy.
And what's challenging about it?
Well, because you're dealing with other people's measurements, and not everyone knows how to measure properly, and that's one of the most important parts of making clothing, is being able to translate the numbers.
Yeah. And so how did you get started in this industry?
I got started in it because my dad is in it.
Okay.
He's not in it now. He's somewhat retired.
Okay.
But he was in it when he came to Canada. That was one of the first things he did. He always worked in the factories in Montreal.
Okay.
Montreal was a huge hub in the 80s and 90s for clothing.
Yeah.
I would say 80% of the suits that were in North America came out of Montreal.
Really?
Yeah.
All around Chabanel?
Oh, yeah. Saying made in Montreal was like saying made in Italy. That's
really?
That. Oh, yeah.
This is back in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s and 90s.
Talk to us more about that. That's really interesting. So, like, what was it like for, why was it like that? I guess like the Jewish trade, because a lot of Jews are in textiles.
Yeah, there's a lot of Europeans, Italians, Greek, you name it, that's what they knew how to do. So we had a very rich sewing culture in Montreal. And then as everything kind of transitioned overseas, you lost that. And also it's a trade. Not everyone wants to do a trade. That's the thing that we struggle with now is to find good people that want to actually do the work.
So because the fact that you guys still, what's the term, handcrafted? Or
Handmade.
Handmade?
Yeah.
And there must be there's not very many handmade tailors around anymore, I would assume, right?
There used to be one on every block, and now it's,
So it's a dying breed.
Oh, yeah. It was a dying breed when I got into it. I would say 13 when I started to really, so take it a step back. In our basement at my dad's house, we'd have like a little sewing room, 5 or 6 machines.
Okay.
And on the weekends, he would do it somewhat as a hobby and, extra money here and there to fix things and make dresses and that sort of thing. So I was always around it.
Okay.
I used to help him out some days where he'd be like, okay, you hold this and I'm going to unstitch this. And it was like in our house. So it was like right there. So I got to see it in full time.
And you obviously enjoyed it.
I didn't even know what I was doing at that point. I didn't know what this was. I didn't understand what my dad did. I just knew that if we needed clothes, they just appeared.
And so was your dad always like dressing fresh as well?
Oh, yeah.
He would always have like a nice suit on.
Super traditional. Sundays, you wore a collar, like always put on dress pants. My parents had a very strong, let's say, ethic of you have to look nice and presentable when you go out into the world. It's a sign of respect for other people, and it's a sign of respect if you want to be taken seriously.
Huh. And what's your background? Like, what nationality are you?
From Barbados.
Barbados.
So, yeah.
Nice.
The sunny islands.
Yeah. Why did they come here?
Yeah, I keep asking them that. But, there were no jobs at that time.
Okay.
So he came here with his 2 sisters.
Okay.
One is in Ottawa. One is, one stayed in Barbados because she didn't like it.
Okay.
Too fast-paced.
Yeah.
But, there were no jobs in Barbados. So coming here, he wanted to be a mechanic. And I think he realized at a young age, like all the women were in fashion. So he was like, you know what, I'm going to do that.
And is that how you met your mom?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So I guess it worked out.
And so, like, what's it like going to Barbados? I've never been to Barbados.
You have to really understand that it's not like North America in the sense that you're there to relax.
Like everyone's there to just chill.
Yeah. So things take long.
Like give me an example of something that would take long in Barbados.
If you're going to the bank, like that's what you're doing that day.
That's your task
That's
for
your
the day.
task because you're going to sit in line for 2 or 3 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Forget about it. But that's the mentality. It's like you're supposed to live a slow life.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And so 2 to 3 hours. Oh man.
Put it this way, McDonald's wouldn't work there.
Do they don't have a McDonald's there?
Didn't work there.
So like when you go there, you basically, so you just drink rum, sit on the beach.
Sit on the beach. There's a lot to see.
Chill.
Beautiful island. People are super friendly. And the food obviously is good.
What's good about the food?
Caribbean food.
Yeah.
Caribbean food.
Caribbean
So
is
it's
actually
food for the
delicious.
soul.
Barbados, I always forget. I always get mixed up with the islands. You got Cuba, and then you got Dominican Republic a little further south, and then Barbados is east of Dominican, I think.
That's a good question. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Where is it? I'm kind of curious. Can you just check that?
Yeah.
Not that it's that important, but
But it's, I probably should know that.
you should. Yeah. How often are you going there?
I would say we go every year because I still have a lot of
And you don't know,
family there. Yeah.
bro, Jonathan.
I just go with a plane ticket, Jonathan.
Fair enough. Okay, so your dad started off in the tailor trade. You're doing this now,
Yeah.
and so where?
Southeast.
It's southeast of Dominican. Okay. I
So
thought
Barbados is southeast of Dominican.
Southeast of
Well,
Dominican.
very far. There's a lot in between.
Yeah, there's a lot of islands.
Yeah,
There's
because
a
you have
lot
like
of
St.
islands.
Lucia. You have. I want to go visit more of those islands. I've only ever been to Cuba. I'll never go back to Cuba. The food was terrible. You ever been?
No.
It's not good.
I hear that the food is pretty rough.
It's really, really, really bad. And we stayed at like a 5-star resort. Like, yeah.
Okay.
It's the nicest we were gonna get there. Dominican, I like Mexico.
Okay, yeah, Mexico is good.
Yeah, I just went to Jamaica actually in
Oh,
November.
nice.
That was really nice. Yeah,
What was it? Just vacation?
just vacation.
Oh,
It was
I
an
love that.
all-inclusive. Yeah, very, very, very nice.
Who'd you go with?
I went with my girlfriend.
Okay, nice. That's
Yeah.
a nice little vacation.
Yeah, it was good.
So you got a little tan on yourself then?
No, my tan's gone. Like I'm super pale. If I get a tan, my tan literally lasts like 2 days, and then it's gone after that.
That's
Yeah.
my heart breaks for you.
So yeah, just back to the business. So you started this out, and then like, what do you do to basically get your clients? Is it almost all word of mouth?
It's 100% word of mouth.
All word of mouth.
This is the first year actually where people have kind of found us online.
Okay.
Which I'm assuming it came from some sort of word of mouth because I'm not top out of Google and I'm not at like the top of the search.
Do you have
page.
an Instagram page?
Yeah.
Okay. I
So-
should have checked out the Instagram page, but I deleted the app because I'm on it too much. So
That's fair. I'm probably next to do that. If I didn't have a business, to be honest, I'd probably be off too.
yeah,
It's
you get
a
a lot
lot.
of inquiries, like DMs for business on Instagram, I would assume.
Not necessarily. It's all people that I've already done business with. So it's sometimes just a reinforcement, a touch point. Sometimes I'll post something and they're like, "Oh, I like that. Let's work on that for my next project." So I use it mainly as a portfolio for the things we've made.
Okay. So so you said there's 5 people that work at the factory, right?
No, we're 20.
20 people.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And
Yeah.
are these all your employees?
Yep.
Damn, that's a nice little business, bro.
Hey, I feel like I work for them, to be honest.
Fuck. Okay. And so like these guys are like, walk me through a day. Like what are you doing?
So order comes in or
Yeah.
orders, whether it be our personal orders, because we have like our house brands that we deal with.
Yep.
One of them is mine. My partner has his personal brand. And then
Okay.
we have one together, which is Atelier 1200.
Okay.
So that's our personal brand together.
Okay.
And then we have all the people that we do work for. So a typical day, you have orders here, people cutting, sewing, ironing, finishing off. So because we finish all our suits by hand, someone finishing off, like literally sewing piece by piece by piece. Some people coming in to pick up their stuff. We deal with customers that come in, do fittings, that sort of thing. Because we're really building it from scratch. It's like in the 60s, you see those movies, the guy's on a cell phone and there's just like a couple of pieces of the suit strung together. It's kind of that idea. So when they come in, some people are at this stage of the process, some people are at delivery stage of the process. Hopefully a machine doesn't break, that kind of thing.
Interesting. And so most of the orders that you're doing, is it more just like custom orders? Or is it more en masse? Like, do you ever kind of like make it an assembly line? Like you'll get one of the brands that says, hey, by the way, I need 1,000 pieces. I need 1,000 suits. Does it work like that?
100%. It's
Yeah?
like
Okay.
50-50. Depending on the year, sometimes it's 60-40.
Okay.
The custom is what we really specialize in, but we can do what we call like stock orders. So
Got
they
it.
come in and say, yeah, we need 50 Navy blazers.
Okay.
Like even we do uniforms for some people too.
Okay.
I almost said a name. I was like, "Ooh."
This is where you just look at Shem and you just go like, cut that out,
Yeah,
cut
yeah,
that
cut
out.
that out.
Yeah. But
Wow.
okay, interesting. I didn't know. Like I always thought it was you, and I knew you were the suit guy. I just always knew you as the suit guy before we really ever chatted
I
together.
like that nickname.
Yeah,
it's
like
stuck.
It's like well, everyone likes to say I got a guy. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So you were the suit guy. I used to have another suit guy. I actually still technically do have this suit guy, but so I'll go into his basement. They're not like stolen items or anything. Well, I don't think, at least. I think like the way he explains it, though, he goes, so for example, if one of the department stores doesn't sell the suit in
Right.
a year or 2 years, I'll just buy it off them for whatever price, 50 cents on the dollar. So I'll get my suits there. So let's say, for example, I'm a client now,
Yeah.
and I want to get a really sexy custom suit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna?
So there's 2 ways that we can typically do it. One is, you come to our office. We have a wall with books from all over the world.
Okay.
Probably have like 20,000 swatches. And then the other thing is that
20,000 what?
swatches of
What's a
fabrics.
swatch?
So the piece of fabric that you would look at to pick your suit from. So it's like a 6x4 piece of cloth
Okay.
that companies will give us.
Okay.
And we sell those. So you come in, we look at, I interview you almost. I ask you, what's the suit for? Is it for a special occasion? Is it for work? And then you kind of pick out the direction of where we go. Because if you're wearing something for work, obviously you want something that's like a workhorse. I don't want you to tear your pants when you get in and out of your car. But if it's for a wedding, maybe we do something that's a little bit finer, a little bit nicer because you're wearing it, once or twice a year. So I understand what your needs are, how you like to wear your clothes. Are you good with your clothes? Like some people, I mean, I know we're guys, but some people are rough with their stuff. So in that case, I'm not going to show you like a super 180, going back to that, what we were talking about.
The thread count.
So
And yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, so the thread count is like, okay, the higher you go, the thinner, the more luxurious the feeling is. But for someone who wears suits every day, I would never suggest that. Put it that way.
And so, but the higher the thread count is, the more delicate the piece. Like the easier
100%.
it gets damaged.
Yep. But
It's like,
it feels nice.
I'm sure it's like a car, right? It's like a Ferrari, or like if you have a $10,000 car and it gets dinged, like, whatever. Okay, but you got a Ferrari, a small little ding, it's going to cost you $25,000 to fix it.
Absolutely.
So stuff like that.
I'm going to steal that example.
Yeah. What's the thing? All the finer things in life are come at a cost. I don't know, something stupid.
Something like that.
So if you have like, everyone always, well, I love James Bond.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Idris Elba, and apparently they came out with the news. It's not Idris Elba. It's the guy that was in, I forget his name. He's obviously a British actor.
I know what he looks like, but I don't know his name.
He was the guy. He was in. Can you type in Google the next? I want to know his name now. The next James Bond. He's a young guy because Daniel Craig's all done. But the question I was going to ask.
He was my favorite Bond, by the way.
Yeah, he was excellent. He was so badass and so suave with everything that he wore, the suits.
Yep.
So
Taylor Johnson.
Aaron, yeah, I think so. What were the movies he was in? He's like a young, good-looking dude. Well, obviously he's James Bond. It's gonna be good.
Has to.
Yeah.
He has to be able to rock a suit properly.
Yeah, that too. But like I don't see him as being able to do that the way Daniel Craig did. But
No.
He was in Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass, that's it. Thank you.
Craven the Hunter.
Okay, so yeah, the Kick-Ass guy is going to be the next James Bond.
Okay.
Interesting, but we'll see how it goes.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, they always make it good. But so those suits there, like a Tom Ford.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference between a super high-end brand like a Tom Ford versus the stuff that you're selling? Or is there no difference, and you don't have like the brand of Tom Ford on your suits? And you could say, yeah, there's no difference in like the fabric and how it's made.
I mean, yeah. So there is no difference in that sense. It's a lot of it is unfortunately it's branding.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the big fashion shows that they all have and that sort of thing, like the customer's paying for that. Like you don't know it, but you are, because we sell a lot of the same fabrics that are made by all these top designers. There are a few designers that, they only have their own production and their fabrics are woven in their shop. But for the most part, like I have the same materials that they use. You're just paying for,
So you're gonna get the exact same suit. You're just not gonna put the stamp of Tom Ford on it, but it's like the fabric's gonna be the same. It's gonna be handmade the same way.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, and so how, like typically speaking, so one of the suits that James Bond is wearing, how much does a suit like that go for? 20 grand, 15 grand,
8,000.
8,000?
8,000 to like 12,000.
Okay, and you would be, and that's because you're paying for the name of Tom Ford, right?
Well, you're also paying for the design.
That
so,
too.
Like every designer has their little cachet, their thing that makes them unique.
Yeah, their signature, I guess.
Yeah. So Tom Ford's a good one. Like Tom Ford's a good designer.
Yeah.
So you're paying for his expertise, whether he worked at Gucci and that sort of thing, all the years that he's accumulated, and he makes nice stuff. But in terms of the construction and that sort of thing, like, we can play in the same ballpark kind of thing.
And so whenever you're like, what's your pitch though when you're trying to give a custom suit to somebody? Is it, look, man, you're gonna pay for it, but it's gonna be fucking sick?
Yeah.
Or that's because, to my understanding, like, how much is a suit? If I want to get, let's say I walk up to you, I go, Johnny, I want to get like a really fucking nice suit. I'm going to this wedding. I want to look fly. That would cost me what? 3 grand, 4 grand?
No, it could start at 1,500, and then there's literally no limit. So, I would say the average could be like 2,500, 3 grand, somewhere around there. But at the same time, it's fabric based. So I think that, a lot of it comes down to the fit. The fit is important. You can wear, like, how many times you see some guy and he's wearing a Zara suit, but because it fits well, you're like, oh, it's a nice suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
See after 10 wears, but.
Yeah, exactly. No, Zara suits. I used to get my suits actually at Simon's.
Okay.
They were terrible. The polyester suits.
Oh my God, that must have been hot.
Dude, they were brutal. And like, because at the beginning, I didn't know anything about suits. So they fit really well, like you said. So I get into my suit and be like, damn, fuck, I look pretty good. I was like 24 and stuff. I don't know anything about suits at this point in time. And then I started to learn, and I realized that polyester is absolute just shit. And if you want to get a nice suit, it should be wool and should have a high thread count. And
it's got to be natural.
Yeah.
Not something that's breathable, that's natural.
And like, what's like the craziest custom piece you've ever made for somebody?
The craziest one.
Yeah.
There was one that took about a year to make.
Jesus. So is it a suit or jacket?
No, it was a suit.
Okay.
He came up to me, it was for his wedding too.
Okay.
And he saw this like on the runway for a Givenchy show.
Okay.
And it had all these stars all over the place. So I was like, okay, cool concept. I went and I looked and I found this star fabric. It came in, and then I was looking at it and I'm like, first of all, I can't charge for this because the fabric looked like crap. But there was only one place that I could find it. So then instead, I sent him a message, hey, listen, the timeline's going to be a little bit different, but I think I'm going to make it nicer. So I had every star embroidered on the fabric. There were 742 stars, and obviously
Each one sewn hand by hand. Hand.
embroidered
Wow.
like by machine.
Okay.
But it took about 2 weeks to embroider all the stars. But like there's symmetry in a suit, so all the stars have to line up this way and they have to line up that way. So it was a lot of people involved to make that suit, but it looked fantastic, and he loved it on his wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's badass.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a really
What's
cool
your
project.
opinion on Conor McGregor's suits?
They're too tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're way too tight. His designer is great, but they're
Okay.
way too tight. He's like this, hunched over.
Yeah. Didn't he have one? He was going to a fight, and the thing I think it said
Yeah.
"fuck you" or
Yep.
something.
Justin has that pocket square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But just to see, so we can get that fabric. So people look at that and they go, oh, well, they see it on TV and they go, I want that.
yeah.
And we have the same fabrics, and Conor McGregor went and got it at one of these big designer places. And we were able to get it. It comes from England, and there's like one mill that makes it. And the thread is actually like gold filaments. So Justin got a pocket square like that, all to say.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so what about also too, like, he was talking to me about this winter jacket that you make. Is that
His famous coat, he
yeah?
loves that coat.
Is this true as well?
Pardon?
Is it like you do winter coats as well?
Yeah,
Like
overcoats.
everything you do, is it mostly for men, or you do stuff for women as
No,
well?
we do a lot of stuff for women, but we try to stay away from like dressmaking because that's a whole other expertise. There's
Okay.
like, you can have suiting, you can have dressmaking, and then like leather and denim, and it breaks up in those subsets. And people that only do denim don't really mess with the other stuff, and vice versa.
Okay.
So we stick to really tailored stuff: shirts, ties, suits, pants, skirts, anything that you would kind of see that's like tailored and made with a sewing machine.
And are you guys like trying to scale up the business right now, or do you like the size that you're at right now?
Probably go a little bit bigger,
'Kay.
but at the same time, there's like what we do is very special because it's still made by hand, and the
It's
bigger
very niche.
It's 100%
Yeah.
niche. And the bigger we get, you kind of deviate away from that, and we don't want to become the mass production person. A lot of people have chosen that route. I'm sure they make a ton of money, but for us, it's really about the craftsmanship, keeping it here too, keeping it local is always important.
So how does someone like Tom Ford do it then? Because like to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, I am not in this world, but to my understanding, Tom Ford, they sell a shit ton of suits.
Yep.
So there's got to be some type of mass production, but they still keep that craftsmanship.
They have a good
To
shop
my
in-
understanding.
No, I don't know how many suits they sell, but I don't know how many people are buying $10,000 suits.
Probably not that many.
No,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they got a beautiful shop in Italy, so they have the people there to do it. Here, the schools that teach you fashion don't necessarily teach you how to actually make the garments, and don't teach you the actual business aspect of it. So kids are coming out of school and going, okay, I want to be Tom Ford, but I don't want to do any of the things to do like to be Tom Ford kind of thing.
And who competes with Tom Ford? Like, what are some other brands that you can actually like compete against them? Would Tom Ford be top number one?
No, not even. He's
Really?
probably like 30th.
Jeez. So who's like up here?
There's like Keaton, there's Brioni, there's Loro Piana. There's a lot of companies that people just don't know about.
Sounds like they're all Italian.
Yeah, they're all. There's a theme here, but Tom Ford is probably the biggest one in terms of pop culture.
Okay.
But there's a lot of suit brands that no one knows about because it's in one tailor shop in Naples, but they make suits at 20,000 euros.
But they're absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
obviously.
because they're 100% made by hand. Like we use sewing machines.
Yeah.
They'll use
Hand.
Yeah, so it's taking like 8 months to a year and a half for a suit.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're getting let's say 60 hours of labor in that suit.
So, but these places, they can never really scale up because you can't scale up hand sewing.
No.
Like it's gonna stay niche. It's gonna stay low supply.
Yeah.
There's probably how big's the waiting list? Like years to get a suit there. I bet
Sometimes
you.
they don't even take new people. There's a
Wow,
tailor that
yeah.
I discovered out of Japan.
Okay.
Who went and did his apprenticeship in Italy, took it back to Japan. He's got a shop. He only makes 150 suits a year. That's it. And he's got a wait list for like the next 10 years.
I believe it.
It's crazy.
It's always
crazy.
like getting specific types of watches, getting like the new sexiest Ferrari and then the nicest Lamborghini, nicest like. There's a lot of people that have watches, like especially the.
Are you a watch guy?
No, well, I really appreciate watches, but I don't have a nice watch.
Okay.
Do you have a nice watch on right now?
I mean,
you're
it's
hiding
a
it right
decent
now.
watch.
Decent.
I guess.
What is
I don't
it?
know. It's a Bowman Mercier.
Okay. It looks nice.
It tells the time. But my partner is big into watches, so I've been learning the last 2-3 years about watches, and I didn't realize like people are crazy for their watches and what people will spend.
Yes. But my approach like right now is basically I wouldn't buy a watch unless my passive income from my investments was able to pay for it. Like I have an issue buying it. Like there's so many other things and productive assets you can put your money into. Like I just feel like I'm not at a level financially that I should be buying a $15,000
You're a responsible human being.
Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't be buying a $15,000 watch at this point in time.
Yeah.
All right, so here we got to cut. What else? Let's talk about some other stuff here. What do you like about the business that you're in, and what do you hate about the business that you're in?
I mean, I like obviously that we're doing something very special. It's not every day you meet someone that makes clothing, especially at the way we do it, at the level we do it. I think it's something very beautiful about creating a garment for someone. I love the aspect of meeting with people. Like I don't consider what I do working. Same thing that we're doing. I sit, I converse, I make you clothing, make you take off your pants, you pay me, and we leave. So in that sense, like it's not really like I don't feel like I'm working.
Okay,
it's nice too. Like the most rewarding part is when someone can't find something because their body type, and you can finally make them something that they're like, okay, this is how it's supposed to feel. I'm sure you know a ton of people that hate wearing suits because they're uncomfortable. They never fit the way. It fits me here, doesn't fit me here.
It's like a big thing for hockey players a lot of times because they have big legs,
big
right?
Thighs.
Yep. A lot of times they can't find suits that fit them either.
Yeah. And you get some bigger gentlemen that just they don't feel comfortable in a suit. A suit is supposed to be like that black dress. You're supposed to feel like $1 million or $10 million. So when guys can't find that, that's tough. So to be able to provide that for people is a good feeling.
And so it's like you're really going after the white glove service, eh?
I'm trying, yeah.
It seems like every single time I've spoken to somebody about you for the suits, it's always been a positive comment. Kind of like, dude, you gotta go.
That.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
I appreciate that.
It's not just Como and Richard. There's been other people too. Like, dude, you gotta go get a suit from Millsy.
We work hard to do this, and I'm doing this to be the best.
Yeah,
I'm not trying.
Like the next time I get a suit, like I'm telling you right now, and I'm gonna get that coat. So you can thank Justin Como. I want to get like a nice badass coat. Okay, so what type of? So you're looking at me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say winter. I do need a winter.
Like an overcoat.
I need like a dress winter jacket. Yeah. So what would you give to me?
I mean, what kind of dress are you? Like to stand out, or you just like something that's understated?
Good question.
Like,
depends on the day.
So like, let's say you had infinite amount of money. What kind of car would you buy? Would it be a Bentley, which is a little bit more, understated, or would it be a Ferrari or a Lamborghini?
I wouldn't get a Lambo. I'd get a Porsche.
Okay.
I'd get a Porsche.
Okay.
Like a nice Porsche.
Yeah. So it's like it's more on the classic side, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to be kind of standing out, but I would like it to be sleek at the same time. It's like, what color would you give me?
I would probably do something navy.
Okay.
Yeah, bring out those eyes.
This isn't gay at all.
No, but play off of the features that you have.
Okay.
And obviously, like, navy goes with everything. It's not black. Black, I find, is harsh for suiting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people that are religious with it. Like, I need that black suit or versions of it.
Yeah.
And then even, like, a nice dark green would be cool.
Dark green would be sick. But dark green, could you wear that? Like, wouldn't there only be certain... Could you wear that with almost anything?
You could almost wear it with anything. It's just, you'll be known as the guy with the green suit, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But
what's Justin's color?
Justin likes very loud, very like he wants to
pop.
He wants to pop. But that's his personality. When you see him, he's jovial. He's out there.
Yeah.
He's,
when he comes into a room, man, holy Jesus,
he commands.
You know he's there.
Yeah,
he's there.
So he wants the same kind of thing with his suits. I feel like I've actually kind of toned him down a little bit over the years, where I'm like, you don't need to always be the Lamborghini guy. You can be the Porsche guy.
Didn't he have like a pin? I think I've seen him in a pinstripe suit before.
Yeah, I love that suit. I love that.
Did you make that suit for him too?
Yeah, that was a classic one.
Okay.
And pinstripes is like, it's making a resurgence again.
So how many suits? So let's say, for example, someone is they're a young professional. What do you need in the repertoire for suits? How many suits and what are the colors?
I think it's changing, where it's becoming more of like a casual kind of environment. Like, I don't know, when you wear suits, did you wear them to work every day?
The suits that I have, before COVID,
Yeah.
I dressed up more often. I think a lot of other people did. And then after COVID, well, I'm dressed like this. Like I'll put on a nice pair of jeans. I'll put on some clean shoes.
Didn't even put on
I'll
a
get
jacket
shirt.
for me.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about doing full suit, and then I was just like,
I would have loved that.
I know I should have. Fuck. I had it in front of me too. I had a freshly pressed white dress shirt. I was gonna do black and white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
but then I didn't.
That's okay.
But so yeah, what does a young professional need in the repertoire? Like what the colors and how many? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 2?
Probably based off of like what you're doing too. Like, let's say you're a car salesman, and I know you're going in and out of cars all day. You're doing test drives. You're going into the garage, that sort of thing. I would do something, 3 or 4 dark colors, because you're gonna get oil, or you're gonna get stains, or something that you're not gonna have to dry clean all the time, because that's also a pain. It's also hard to find a good dry cleaner.
And the dry cleaning, like each time you dry clean the suit, it damages
tears away a little bit.
Yeah,
Tears away a little bit.
yeah,
But when you're wearing suits every day, some people, they sweat. So
yeah. That was interesting. That's like one thing too. I always hate. Oh, I have a question. I have this Zegna suit.
Yeah.
I fucking love the suit. I really like it. I have a little tear in the leg.
ooh,
Yeah, it's really, really, really small. And as soon as it happened, like I clipped the corner of a table, and as soon as it happened, I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, you're kidding me. I love that suit. What do I do?
oh, I can take a look at it. Maybe patch it. But see how annoying that would be if you spent like 15 grand on a suit and you walked by a table and it tore.
Yes,
So
of course.
that's what I mean. Like when it comes to picking the right suit for the right person, you have there's less of a likelihood of you doing that at a wedding than there is. Well, actually, depending on the wedding. But if you're constantly working all day in a suit, like I'm sure people wear out their elbows all the
Yes.
time, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So
How many pieces do you have?
probably not as many as you think I have, but I probably have.
I was gonna say 20.
No, maybe a bit more. People think I have like hundreds and thousands of suits. I probably have
That'd be stupid.
I probably have like 30.
30?
Yeah, and I probably wear the same 10.
Yeah. And like, what's your favorite one out of all those?
The favorite one that I have is the first one I ever made. I considered it like my lucky suit. It was blue, and it had like this checkered kind of understated look. So from far it looked navy, but when you got closer, it had like different colors in it. Kind of like this, but a little bit more out there. I love that suit. One, because it was like a statement piece, but it wasn't like a loud statement piece. And it just became my like lucky suit when I was going to meet someone for the first time. I'd be like, okay, I'm putting on that suit. It's a closing day.
My dad had a very similar suit. It definitely wasn't as nice as your suit, but he had when he would go when he first started his insurance career. So he would go and sell business insurance, and he had 14 sales like in a row. Because like when you go and see people, generally speaking, like you're not gonna bat at 100%.
Yeah.
So sometimes you might go 10, and you're not gonna close for 10 people, and then he was on a streak. But he would always make sure he wore the same suit every single time to go see the person.
It becomes a tradition.
Yeah, it's like it's superstitious,
R.I.P. to that suit, by the way. I put it on this year, and my body's not the same as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Why you're like have more muscles now, or?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I think I've gained some weight in my stomach. So.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah,
We've all done it.
COVID was rough to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was my biggest flex, though, is that I was still able to fit into some of the clothes I had for like 10 years.
Nice.
And now it's over. It's over.
Do you have any partners in your business?
I have one partner. Yeah.
One partner?
Yeah.
And your dad is completely out of the business, you said, right?
He's kind of like has an advisory role.
Okay.
When we're working on something and we can't figure it out, or there's a process that we're trying to refine.
And did he start the business, or you started this business?
No, I started this business.
Okay.
So what happened was he always kind of worked for people.
Yeah.
When the business kind of transitioned overseas and everything went to China, it's like a light switch. Everything closed. All the shops closed almost overnight.
And this was when, like the
This
90s?
was probably like the early 2000s.
Okay.
And when that happened, he was kind of like, well, I'm not really going to get into this anymore, and I'll do something else. So he's, I want to say somewhat retired. And, he, like I said, he helps us out when we have little snags. He's
And so you'll just-
annoyingly good.
That's great though. So you'll just bounce ideas off him, stuff like that, if you're having issues.
Things that he used to do a certain way back in, the 80s or 90s, as opposed to now. Like his company that he was working for, they made the suits for like Michael Jordan and all those big basketball players when the suits were huge and the jackets were down
Very
to the floor.
boxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in his day,
Those are all made in Montreal.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So like
That's so cool.
it's different. So you try some of these big jackets on and they're like that long.
Yeah.
Not flattering at all.
Yeah.
But like he's coming from an era where as long as the jacket fit on the shoulders, it didn't really matter.
It's kind of like what's the Wall Street guy, Gordon Gekko?
Yeah.
Great character.
Great
Like,
character.
Just kind of the suits and the coats and the jackets, so boxy. It's so funny.
Pants were so big you couldn't see the person's feet.
Yeah, dude. It was like, do you think that's ever gonna come back? I feel like every type of style eventually makes its way back again.
Yeah. That's the beauty about what we do, or the not beauty. But you like my dad has suits now that he's had for a million years that are coming back into style. Same thing.
What's
with
the fit?
cuts. Oh, the fit is terrible. The fit is terrible. I
So-
actually took one of his old suits and repurposed it to fit me, which is pretty cool.
That is badass.
Yeah.
So like, what's in style right now? Because to looking at this from the outside, again, I'm no expert in this, but for having like a nice suit, I'd say 5 years ago, fitted.
Yeah.
I would even go as far. I do have a suit that's as fitted as Conor McGregor. I'm not as jacked as Conor McGregor. No, but it's like, it's borderline. Like tight,
yeah.
And sometimes like when when you go to like bend your legs, you're trying to sit and you're just like.
Yeah.
Like one of those, and your legs stay like that. So I have a suit like that I really like though. So there's that. That's 5 years ago, at least to my understanding. And like now, is it getting kind of, we're back to just getting, I don't want to say loose, but not as tight or fitted?
You're seeing a big trend in like this baggy style. You're seeing it in athletic wear. You're seeing it in street style. You're seeing it in suiting. But I don't like to follow those types of trends because if I wore a baggy suit or you wore a baggy suit, it would look terrible on us.
Yes.
Like I'm all about fit first. And I think if you do something that's classic where it's not baggy, but it's not super fitted, like those stand the test of time. You're going to see all these baggy suits for another 2 years, and then it's going to go back to trim, and then it's going to go back to wide, and the colors are going to change, and it's going to be purple 1 year, yellow 1 year. So I don't like to follow any of that. I'm like, okay, let's choose something that's classic, that has a little bit of style, and let's just run with that.
Timeless.
Timeless.
Yeah,
It's all about timeless.
Yeah.
Watches, cars, suits.
Timeless piece.
Yeah.
It is good too, because you can keep the suit for forever.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it. I've made myself these, like, I'm going to wear yellow, and I'm going to wear red, and ask me how many times I wear those. I wear them
How many
like
times do you wear them?
Yeah.
Like once?
once a year, maybe.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful green suit, like a bright green suit that I needed to have because it was the color that year.
Yeah.
I wore it, and I'm like, okay, well, now I'm the guy with the green suit. Like, I can't.
And you haven't worn it then?
No.
Haven't worn it since?
I haven't worn it since. I got yellow. I have the
Yeah.
rainbow.
But a piece like that, you'll probably wear that thing, 10 times in your life? If that?
Yeah, maybe. I literally probably.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it? Like, you're literally going to spend, it's probably $5,000 on, like, if your time, fabric, maybe more, maybe less. And you don't have to say the price, but let's say it's $5,000.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, I'm literally going to wear this 10 times in my entire life.
That was my thing starting off at this, is like, okay, how can I take over more of a person's closet aside from like just doing suiting? And that's why we've kind of branched out to do other things. Like we've started a little athleisure capsule for stuff like that, like high quality blanks that would look nice under a suit instead of a dress shirt. Because to your point, if I'm a business person as well, and I have one of my garments in your closet, like, and you're wearing it once a week, like that's not growing my brand. How do I take over more of that real estate? Yeah, okay, you can have 12 suits, but I want to take over the daily stuff. When you're not in suits, what do you go shopping in? Like that kind of idea.
And so that's what you're trying to get into now?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wanted to
Very
basically,
interesting.
I only want to wear my stuff.
Got
and
it.
I don't make everything. So even t-shirts, like I only want to wear my t-shirts.
And so basically, because like right now, I see this stuff on TikTok all the time. What's big in brands or what's big in fashion is it's not showing the brand name on what do they call it? Like it's
Quiet
like,
luxury.
Yeah, quiet luxury.
Quiet luxury.
Can you talk to us about that? Like what's like? I would assume all of your pieces. I don't see one brand tag anywhere. On what
Never.
you're wearing
You will
right now.
never see me wear a brand.
Is it bad? Like, let's say, for example, I'm wearing a shirt and it says like Gavinci or Gucci. It's terrible, eh?
It's not terrible. It's just not my personal style. Like when I see people do that, it's a way of kind of like, for them, it's a way of signaling, hey, I have money, or hey, I spent $500 on this T-shirt. For me, it's like, I don't know. I don't need to.
How does it make you feel when you see someone with that? For me, I feel the same way. I look at it and I go, number one, I bet you don't have any money. That's the first thing. Because people, typically speaking, who have like real money don't need to flaunt it because they know they have the money. And so I think it's almost like it's like a reverse mind fuck almost on the fact that like the rich people, yes, they're gonna wear beautiful pieces and they're gonna and some of them don't. You know, some of the tech guys, they're billionaires. They're freaking they're wearing like a golf T-shirt from Walmart. Like look at Shaq.
Yeah,
like he's tough to fit, but he's kind of, you always see him like a lot of times. He doesn't dress up nice like very often.
No.
And he brags about how often he just goes to Walmart to do his shopping and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Did you watch the show, what's the one with Logan Roy? I forget the name all the time.
Succession? Yes.
All their clothes are beautiful.
Yes.
Not one logo.
Yeah.
Not one logo.
Yes.
And the brand that makes their clothing is like, it's synonymous with luxury, but you have to know about it to know about it. So you see those pieces and you're like, I know that sweater was a $4,000 sweater because I know the brand. But to most people, it's like, well, it's just a beige sweater.
Are you trying to get to that point?
I don't think I want to ever be that expensive, just because then you're really limiting yourself to the amount of people. I think what I love about what I do is that I meet so many different people. I'm not saying that, you know, it kind of sounds a little weird too because I'm selling a suit at, you know, $1,500. So it's already a luxury item. But I think when you
but that's fair price for, you know, if you're going to get a custom suit, that's very fairly priced.
Yeah, it's fairly priced, but you're neglecting this whole other subset of people. Yeah. And I think you only alienate yourself more, you know, when you get to the 10,000s and the 20,000s but who knows? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll feel different when I get there.
Yeah. Like seriously. But like what part do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the sitting down, doing like the one-on-one, okay, this is when we're going to make to you? Or do you enjoy more thinking about, okay, how are we going to scale up, or how am I going to get other pieces? How am I going to grow the business? Like, because I'm just talking to you, I feel like you're probably going after slow growth. Like, hey, if it grows, fantastic. But I just want to make sure the quality is there. I want to make sure, like, that's priority number one.
100%. The quality has to be, like, when I started making suits, I didn't put one out for 4 years because it was something that I wouldn't wear personally. And there's so many different intricacies of how things wash and do they shrink and how they're going to look over time that I'm like, hey, someone's giving me their hard-earned money. I can't take that for granted. So if I'm going to come out with other pieces of clothing, they all have to kind of fit that test. So we tried to do sweaters last year, and we got like, we didn't actually manufacture them ourselves, but we finished them in our shop. We tried it, and like, honestly, they washed like shit. Like, they all came out like tube tops. And I was like, okay, well, imagine now I went and sold, you know, 200 of those, and I have to go take those back. Like, that's not fun either.
What's your opinion on the brand, Zach Maklovich's brand? What's Zach Maklovich's brand? St. Woods.
St. Woods.
Yeah.
I've seen it in the wild. Like, I've seen people wearing it, which is cool.
Wild. I like that term.
I respect companies that are doing things in Montreal and putting Montreal on the map.
Yeah.
I think the quality is good and its designs are cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely more like a streetwear style.
Yes.
So it's something that I understand but don't understand.
Yeah.
Because
you would never wear that.
And there's that. I would wear his, but because I'd be supporting, you know, Montreal brands, I think that's important.
Got it.
And I think that, like, the way they do it is cool.
Did you ever used to wear, like, back in the day, like in high school, you know, remember, because, you know, we're about the same age. Remember it was all baggy and you had, like, the jeans, that everything was just massively baggy?
Yeah. Did
you have a velour suit?
I wasn't allowed.
You weren't? Your parents didn't let you?
My parents were like, no.
Wow.
Yeah. My parents were like, no. We don't want to see you with your pants off your ass. Like, you're not wearing this. You're not wearing that. Like,
good for them.
They're super strict about that. There's, you know, you can't wear that color because it's a gang color. And I'm like, seriously?
Looking back at it now, though, you probably understand, right?
100%. But it's tough when you're a kid and everyone has that item and you're I want it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I deviated to what I deviated to, because I'm like, you know what? I'll just make my own clothes.
Yeah. Smart. And so you were telling me that you actually don't. So you grew up in Dollard,
Yeah.
and now you live in Toronto.
Yes.
And you've been living in Toronto for how long now?
5 years now.
Oh fuck. Okay,
Yeah.
so like, and that's your permanent residence. You live in Toronto.
I live in Toronto. Address there.
And how often are you back in Montreal?
Every other week. I
You
did
do
it
this-
the opposite.
Holy shit.
People usually, live.
Do you
here,
drive
work
or do you
there.
take like the train?
Take
Or-
the train or I drive,
Okay.
depending on the week, depending on how many suits I'm going back and forth with.
Huh. Okay.
Because when I was dating my girlfriend, we were doing the back and forth
Yeah.
for about a year. And I always wanted to expand in Toronto because it's 10x the size of Montreal. And people wear suits. People wear suits all the time. Doctors, accountants, anyone in the financial district. So I looked at it as a great opportunity to kind of scale the business. But at the same time, I wasn't sure about leaving Montreal because there was an opportunity for me to really open up my own shop here. And, my girlfriend and I are going back and forth. And she was like, well, what are we doing? Is this serious? And I was like, yeah, it's serious. So I guess I'm moving to Toronto.
Yeah, you always have to have that conversation eventually.
Yeah.
But do you have kids?
No kids.
No kids?
No
Okay.
kids. So I think that's why it also works. I think it'd be a lot harder. Like I have a very supportive partner and girlfriend. So, I have to keep them both happy. So.
Yeah. And so, like, does she work in the business as well?
No, she's a lawyer.
She's a lawyer.
So try ever winning an argument.
It probably doesn't happen very often.
Never.
That's cool. And do you have more clients in Toronto now than you do in Montreal?
No, I would say Montreal is the hub because I grew up here.
Yeah.
So you have your affiliations, whether it be soccer, hockey, going out, school.
And I would imagine like most of your clients too, it's probably like it's like either you know them directly or it's like friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably 90% that. I had a big break in my business because at that time everyone I knew was getting married. So I became like the go-to person for everybody because all my friends were like, okay, I'm getting married, you're doing my suit. I'm getting married, you're doing my suit. Okay, I saw it at his wedding. I'm getting married next year. So it was great for that.
Do you want to have kids eventually or you're not sure?
No.
You don't want kids?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah. No, I mean, some people, there's more and more people that just don't want to have kids. And especially now today, and I'm not saying, a lot of people don't want to do it. I'd like to have kids one day.
How many?
But also, like 2 or 3.
You have siblings?
I have a brother.
Older?
Younger. He's I'm 35. He's 30.
So you're a big bro.
Yeah, I'm a big bro.
Cool.
He's 33.
That's an interesting position. I'm younger brother, so.
How old's your brother?
Sister. 7 years different.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's 44.
Yeah.
Okay. Does she live in Toronto as well or Montreal?
No, she lives in Montreal.
In Montreal.
Yeah, has kids, all that.
Good
I
for
think
her.
if I had, because I get that question a lot, like if we want kids, especially because like I'm a professional wedding attendee. I've probably been to like 120 weddings, and I'm not even exaggerating. And
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of fucking weddings.
And I'm not exaggerating. And my girlfriend's probably listening and being like, no, it's probably like 140 weddings.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And we get the question like, when is it your turn? When are you gonna get married, have kids, and that sort of thing? And she's like, I don't want kids. And a lot of the times they're like,
And that's fine. But there's also too, there's like a whole pile of other issues. I don't want to call them issues. No, it's definitely an issue. Like the cost of living, dude, it's fucking expensive to have kids, man.
it's not like it was before
No,
where you could live
man.
off one salary and
No
have a house and a
chance.
car. And
Bro, if you want to have like around here in the West Island, let's say you got a mortgage in the West Island, 2 cars and 2 kids, and then you want to send them to, let's say, like high school, dude, that house, you got to be bringing in $250,000 a year.
Oh, yeah, at least.
You know what I mean?
That's why Toronto sometimes blows my mind because I'll be walking my dog through some of these areas and I'm literally calculating. I'm like, okay, so they have 2 luxury cars.
Yes.
They live in an $8 million house.
Yes.
Their kids probably go to private school.
Yes.
I'm like, I look at their backyard. They have this. I'm like, how much are they bringing in every week?
They're fucking rich.
But there's so many people like that.
There
And
are,
I'm like,
yes, there are definitely like a lot of people that have a lot of wealth,
Yeah.
like, for sure. But there's a lot of people that don't have anything, and those people, like right now, like you just can't have kids. I don't know how you would have kids, and even the support you're gonna get from government, whether it's like food or a bit of money for daycare
Right.
and that shit, it's not enough to
Yeah.
cover like the cost of having kids, and you're just going to be stressed. So I understand when people, and it sounds like, I'm not saying that this is like the decision you guys are making. I'm just saying for other people, like I think about it and go, you know what? I get where you're coming from. It's just like you're going to have the kids and then you're going to be financially stressed because it's so fucking expensive to have them. So I get, they're like, no, I don't want to have kids. Okay, fair.
I mean, we have a lot of kids in our family. So my cousin's got 4, my other cousin's got 3, my sister's got 2. Like, and sometimes we're joking around, and I'm listening to the Costco bills, and I'm like in my head calculating.
Dude.
I'm like, that's a Porsche.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm looking around. I'll make the joke like, you guys aren't worth that.
You wish. You fucking wish. Yeah.
No, but you know, I hear those food bills, and I'm going, that's a lot.
Costco is also a trap, and it's like, I can't for the life of me go there and spend under $200 if I go to Costco.
I believe it.
I can't spend less than $200.
They sell everything there now.
Everything. And they, by design also too, they don't put in all the rows and stuff, they don't put the names and like, okay, this aisle has all of these items and this aisle has all of these items. They intentionally want you to get lost so that you keep like look around. Well, how many times are you just like walking around and you're like, oh, damn, that looks sick, and you buy it, and you had no intention of buying that when you walked in.
I stopped going to Costco. Like, I don't go.
Because of that reason?
Yeah.
You just kept buying shit?
And also, like, the lines are busy. They're packed. But at the same time, you're walking around, and I'm like, wait, what am I here for?
Yeah, and you forget.
Yeah.
The meat's really good, though.
I'm like, I might as well buy 100 toilet paper rolls because, like, it's there. And the price is amazing. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I'm like coming back with all this stuff, and my girlfriend's like, well, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. And you look at the bill, and it's $500. You're just like, fuck.
She's like, what are we going to do with
Or you come back with like a fridge or something. Oh, ours is broken, babe. It's like,
what are we going to do with 40 canned tomatoes?
Yeah. Or it's like you buy like the avocados. The avocados are the worst. You know when you buy the bags, like they're so fucking delicious. But then if you have like 8 of them, and then but you have that window. So you have like a 2-day window. You know when they're perfect?
Yeah.
So you have that 2-day window, but now you have 8 avocados.
I don't know when they're perfect, but I know what you mean because I don't like avocado.
Oh, you don't like avocados? There's a window at the avocados. So basically, like when they get to like they're too hard, so you can't eat them. Okay. And then there's a window for 2 days where you can eat them, and then they start getting too soft and they get like bruised, like it starts to rot basically.
Right. I feel like I've seen that.
So you got a 2-day window where they're beautiful, okay? But a lot of times when you buy the bag, now you have to eat fucking like 8 avocados in 2 days. So it's fucking annoying.
You couldn't pay me to do that, by the way.
Yeah, but avocado eaters definitely, you know what I'm talking about right now. So it's just everyone's like, yeah, fuck yeah. It's so annoying when that happens.
I probably just made myself unlikable to some people. They're like, he doesn't like avocado? What's wrong with him?
Yeah, why don't you like avocado, man?
I don't know. I don't like ice cream either.
What?
Yeah, see?
Are you salty or sweet?
Probably sweet. I like candy.
I love candy.
See?
Yeah.
That's my like little fix. But
what's your go-to?
Probably fuzzy peaches. But you know what I've been big into? Skittles came out with like this little gummy.
Okay.
Those are fantastic.
I saw those. Whatever happened to cherry blasters? I can't find it. I can't find them anywhere.
You gotta just go on the en routes heading to Toronto. I'll pick some up for you.
Heading to Toronto? Okay, yeah, send them over. I'll come get a suit and you give me some cherry blasters.
I'll put it in the pocket.
Yeah.
It'll be a little surprise. Well, not anymore, I guess.
What's next for your business? What's the name of the business, by the way?
So my personal business is Ryan and Rose. My partner's business is Mr. W.
Okay.
Together we own Atelier 1200, and that's the production company that makes for us, but also for all the other people.
Okay. And what's next for you guys?
To expand. So we want to do more international business.
Okay.
We want to be, let's say, more renowned in the world for what we do. We want to make a big push out into the States because, like I said, there's not a lot of people doing what we're doing.
No.
We're one of.
But how do you give that attention to detail if there's someone that, if you're selling to the U.S.? Because like I'm gonna assume, correct me if I'm wrong, I would assume that those people they're not going to come to your office, get a suit, and then fly back to the U.S. Right?
No. So typically, what we do when I travel, because we have customers kind of all over the place. So let's say I'll use Vancouver because that's my next business trip.
Okay.
I'll set up in a hotel. Okay. I'll come with all my swatches. Come with like a couple suits, and I invite people. And they'll come
into the hotel
room, come measure them up, have a coffee, have a scotch, something like that.
Do people ever think you're like a drug dealer or something?
No. Never thought of that.
You know what I mean? Like when you're in a hotel, usually like people in hotels, it's like, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go see this guy in the hotel. Right. Like, come into my room. It's like a secret knock to get in. It's kind of like whatever. You have everything there.
4 knocks.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you got Vancouver. You're trying to expand into the U.S.
Yeah.
Like anywhere in particular in the U.S. or it just doesn't matter?
People have this like connotation that it's like the New Yorks and the Californias and that sort of thing, but there's a lot of little pockets like Iowa and Cincinnati and that they're big suit people,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no competition because there's maybe one or two stores. Everyone's always thinking, I have to go to New York, but in New York there's a tailor shop at every corner. So it's like, why would I put myself there?
Yeah, you want to be. It's a book I'm reading right now called Blue Ocean Strategy.
Okay.
So very similar to like what you're just saying. So there's like a red ocean and there's a blue ocean. So the red ocean, it's kind of like it's a space where you're fighting for a limited amount of resources. So if you were to go to New York, like tailor to tailor, there's not really that much differentiation between. Like a tailor is a tailor at the end of the day. Obviously you like to put your little twist on it, but going into a blue ocean basically just means that you're walking in to a market that like you create the market kind of thing. And even though what you're doing is traditional, like tailor, that's nothing new, but going into a place or going into an area where that doesn't exist, or it's really tough to find a good tailor, it's good business.
Yeah.
And it just makes it easier for you to make more money, and the people that are there are also happy because now they can go see a tailor.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good book.
Blue Ocean Strategy, yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, you should check it out. Do you ever read business books?
I read a lot. No, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
What's your favorite podcast?
There was one
outside
by,
of the freemium podcast. What's your favorite
freemium
one?
podcast.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Yeah. What pause
Put
you
it up
listen
there
to?
for me. Mainly the business of fashion.
Business of fashion. I'm
Yeah.
gonna write that down.
Yeah, business of fashion is probably my go-to.
Okay. What do they talk about?
Exactly, the business of fashion.
Yeah?
No, but they talk about the companies in the world that are doing things on a global scale, and they talk about some of the insolvency. They talk about, okay, this one's acquiring this one. This one did a fashion show, and they did something very controversial, and now their stock went down 40%. That kind of stuff.
What's your opinion on the French guy, LVMH?
LVMH, he's a Goliath.
Yeah, he's fucking like
Owns everything.
dude. Do you know a lot about this guy? I feel like they would talk about that in the podcast.
I mean, do I know a lot about this guy? I just know that he was an aggressive businessman, but had a great vision and was like, okay, if I can't do it myself, I'm gonna buy it, and that's kind of how he acquired a lot of his companies.
Because even too, like for him, if I remember correctly, he did not start in fashion. I think his dad was in real estate or construction.
Yeah. And then I think at some point there was like an alcohol thing.
Grey Goose or Belvedere or something
maybe,
like that.
Or cognac, maybe a cognac.
I'm not sure, but I know for sure, like it's like at the beginning, the story, because you look at him, you're like, okay, he was in real estate in France, and then he moved France because the taxes got too high. The fathers, they had a lot of money. And then to go from real estate, and then you're like into fashion brands, like luxury fashion. What the fuck?
There's something very attractive about fashion. Like
There is. What is it though?
there's the beauty, the luxe, the allure, the lifestyle. Like think about if I were to just describe someone wearing a linen shirt and linen shorts and flip-flops on a beach, or on a boat sailing across the Amalfi Coast. Like there's something very
I just thought about that. That sounds amazing.
See?
Yeah.
And imagine the fashion like that.
Yeah.
That comes with that lifestyle. So you have nice clothes, but you have nice scenery, and pretty things are pretty things.
What do you appreciate most about fashion?
Huh? That's a good question. That's a very good question. You didn't have that on your list. No. No, I think that what I appreciate about fashion is that it's literally the first thing people are seeing on you. So how do you want to portray yourself to the world? What do you want? What message do you want to send the world when you walk out? And you can only get that through fashion, or let's say clothing. That's, I think, the most important thing for me, at least.
So you think it's making a statement, whatever that statement may be.
Yeah, your like declaration to the world. Had I shown up in a t-shirt and shorts, you'd have been like, okay, yeah, you know me. But if I'm coming to you for the first time, you'd be like, okay, well, he's relaxed. I come to you like this. It's like, okay, he's serious. He's professional.
Yeah,
I can
absolutely.
maybe count on him to do something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want to put forward.
There's like a lot of people underestimate the power of looking good. It's like GSP always says, the UFC fighter, you look good. Goes, you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you do good. So, but no, I give the guy credit. Every single time he showed up at his fights, he was ready for business. He'd fucking have a nice suit on. It would be fitted. He was focused. He was ready to go. And it's like you can never be, well, you can be overdressed, but it's way better to be overdressed than it is to be underdressed,
I agree.
especially when it comes to business. Like a guy going to see a client, or if you're trying to, if it's a prospect and you're trying to sell them something or a service or a product, underdressing is like you can never overdress, even if you fucking show up in like a suit or something.
Have you gone to the banks lately? Because
no,
I went to the bank for the first time in, I don't know, like an actual bank, because I
back
do
in
everything
suits?
online.
Yeah, me too.
No, and they're like in t-shirts and jeans, and it threw me off a little bit. It was a bit off-putting, and they're like, "Well, it's casual now," and I'm going like, "This is where we're at now."
Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
It
looks
threw me
like
off.
in a bad way.
A little bit, because I'm looking at some guy who's 24 in a t-shirt, and it was like a pretty rough-looking t-shirt and jeans, and I'm going, okay, now I'm going to trust him with my pin. But that was just my take on it. It threw me off. I'm used to going into the bank and everyone is dressed up, and you're like, you feel there's a sense of security in that almost.
Professionalism.
Yeah, that's a better word for it. Professionalism.
I definitely agree with you.
Like it really threw me off. Where I was like, I called my partner. I was like, I'm wearing t-shirts here. And he's like,
you call your partner right after you left?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna believe what just happened to me, man.
I felt like such an old man too.
Which bank are you?
It was RBC.
Fuck, that's like a fancy bank too. Like
See?
RBC for like they're huge in wealth management. RBC and National Bank, they all do a bit of it, but like wealth management, and that's the white glove. We're gonna handle rich people's money. They're fucking massive in that. That's surprising. RBC would be like that.
Yeah, and that's what threw me off, because I was just like, whoa. It's like, okay.
When I think RBC, in my opinion, I'm with TD, but they're all the fucking same to me. Like, what bank do you think has? This is totally off topic. What bank do you think has the best brand? I think RBC is the strongest brand.
For sure, in Canada, yeah.
In Canada.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then you go to like Europe, and then the banks, you feel like they're all driving Bugattis.
Yeah, yeah. Or like the Swiss banks.
Yeah. You hear like, I bank with Swiss, and you're like, ooh. Okay.
Yeah. You're like, damn.
Yeah. Like,
this guy must have some money.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah.
Good for you. That's a flex.
You ever been to Switzerland?
No, never.
Do they appreciate nice suits as well?
I'm sure they do, because they appreciate good chocolate. So I'm assuming they
and
do.
watches.
Yes. See, I should know that. My
Yes.
partner's probably like, you should know that.
Are you like planning? Do you want to eventually have a watch collection? I mean, I
don't-
feel like it goes hand in hand. If you have a really nice suit collection, which you have, and then the next step would just logically be watches.
It probably should be, but I'm not into it more than that. Like I like the beauty behind them, and like when I see a nice watch, I'm like, okay, that's a nice watch.
You can appreciate it, but
I think that there's so many other things I could do with my money than put it on my wrist, just to like signal to someone that I don't like it enough. Like I would do it with a car, because I like cars. I love cars. So if I could go out and buy the car of my dreams, like I would do that.
What is your car of your dreams?
I mean, there's two. I love Mercedes.
Okay.
So big Mercedes.
Which Mercedes?
Guys. It's a Brabus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, C63 Brabus.
C63s. Oh, I love the C63.
It's a mean car.
Yeah, I'm fucking obsessed with the C63. My favorite car used to be the C63 AMG Coupe.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, this 2015, I'd say 2015.
That was a good year. I like that body.
Dude, the pop and the exhaust, like
wake up the neighbors.
So that's your first car. What's your second?
I've gotten really into Porsches.
It's a beautiful, elegant brand, a Porsche.
I have a couple clients that swear by them. They're a little bit older. They have one or two or three or four, and they've taken me on drives, and I'm like, there's nothing that competes with this.
No.
They've actually let me driven it too.
Yeah. And the way it handles.
The luxury, that. Like,
yeah.
I had a client actually who lent me his for a week.
What kind of Porsche?
It was a 911 Turbo.
That must have been fun.
That was incredible.
What year was the car?
It was 2021.
Okay, so that thing rips.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. People are like,
is that the one that goes 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, or is that the Turbo S?
That I'm not sure.
I think because there's one that came out 2 or 3 years. I want to say 2 years ago. It was the Porsche 911. Anyways, it's 2.7 seconds. Like 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds is
that's scary fast.
10 years ago, that was unheard of. Today, that's fucking fast. And then you look at the Teslas now. I think they go 0 to the Roadster, and the Model S goes 0 to 60. Can you check this for me? I think it's 2.3 seconds. Dude, it's insane.
Who needs to go that fast? but everyone needs to go.
Elon Musk needs to go that fast. Elon Musk needs to go that fast.
But I think, yeah, that for me, that car is can't compete. I remember I was doing some deliveries and I was dropping off suits and people were looking at me like, how much are you charging now? Like, no, it's not mine.
Yeah.
I had to like preface it with that.
Yeah.
Where I would show them like, this is not my car, just so you know.
1.9.
Roads 1 point. It's under 2 seconds. Jesus,
That's-
there you go. Yeah, it's stupid.
Where are we going with this?
Stupid.
When I was just like
It's-
0.5? Is
it's-
that going to
bro.
be the new barometer?
Well, dude, if you think about that, like the G-force in that, it's like, dude, it's like a rocket ship. It's like legit like a fucking rocket ship.
Yeah.
I think that's faster than a Formula One car. I'm not even kidding. I think that's faster 0 to 60.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
That's fast. 1.9 seconds. That's stupid.
You like Formula One?
2.6, roughly.
A Formula One?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It won't handle as good as the Formula One, but it'll fuck it. Do I like Formula One? I'll check it out here and there. I'm not a
Okay.
diehard fan. You?
I'm not a diehard fan either, but I can appreciate the athleticism now. I
Yeah.
watch Drive to Survive
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Good,
That was an eye-opening show.
Really good series.
Very well done.
Yeah.
But like when
I
you
agree.
think about how much they train and working out their necks and how fast they're actually going, what that feels like, crazy.
Did you ever see the clip? Was it called Senna,
Yeah.
the Brazilian guy?
Yeah.
And so there was the clip there. I watched the documentary, and there was a time when he clipped a corner, and he got into an accident. He was winning the race, and he clipped the corner, and he came back out, and he was fucking furious. So he just goes, "What the fuck?" He goes, "Someone moved a tire 2 inches on that corner. This is how precise he was."
Oh.
And they're like, "Dude, but what the hell are you talking about? Like, you got into an accident." No. Lo and behold, someone did. It was not the same as what it was during the practice run. That's how precise this
That's
guy
incredible.
was. But that's what these athletes are like. They're not every athlete is like that, but it's so cool to see like athletes at the top and then the best of the best, like in tennis or in hockey or in basketball or in just like anything, just to see that golf. Like
There's a serious appreciation for that. Like I played soccer growing up, and I remember at 1 year I was on this team, and a couple of guys had played for like Browns University.
Yeah.
And the level that they were at, and they weren't even pro.
Yeah.
The levels that like I considered myself like a decent player, and like I felt like it was an honor to be on the field with them. And I was like, I can't even imagine the guys like Messi who,
Oh Jesus.
make grown men look like 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know.
And so these guys you played with, would they even be able to play in like in Montreal here, or they wouldn't even make that league?
Maybe a couple, maybe one of them, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to make it to Europe, forget it. No chance.
Oh, Europe, it's like you have to be born doing this, and be coached your whole life to be doing this. And I mean, what they can do with a soccer ball, like I don't even think I could do with a marble in my hand.
Wow. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And then do you watch golf? Like, did you watch Tiger Woods growing up?
I watched a little bit because it made golf a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did you
He
watch
added some flavor in there?
Dude, he was the most exciting. Did you watch the Masters when he won? I know this is like almost 5 years ago now, 2019. I think it is 5 years ago. Did you watch that?
Was that where that putt, like that with the Nike commercial?
No, that was back in 2006. That was when he was still in his prime. I'm
Oh, you
talking
mean when
the
he came
comeback?
back?
The
When he came
comeback,
back.
yeah.
I watched maybe like 2 holes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Bro.
I can't sit and watch golf.
I had a tear in my eye when he won.
Really?
Bro, I'm not kidding.
You sit and watch the whole.
The Masters?
Good for you.
Bro,
for
I'm a golfer. I
Okay.
love the golf, so I can appreciate it. And I started playing golf because of Tiger Woods.
Oh wow!
And a
Okay.
lot of kids did. Like this kid, I loved watching it every week. If he was in a tournament, I was watching the golf.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I don't know, when he won the Masters, it was so cool to see everything he's been through. People love to tear people down, but what we like even better is a comeback story. We'll tear them down first. He had all his issues with drugs or cheating on his wife and all that kind of. He had a lot of personal issues.
Car accidents.
And then, but to see them rise from the ashes and then to win again.
To dominate.
Yeah, bro, it was so fucking
Impressive.
cool. And that just brought me back. I'm getting shivers just thinking about it. Seriously, it brought me back to just being a kid and watching him win.
Right.
And so I was just like, damn, this is fucking sick.
Yeah, he's a big inspiration for you. That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you a good golfer?
I'm not bad, yeah.
Okay. How many times do you play a year?
I play a lot.
Ah, so you're good then.
Yeah, I
You're
play.
good.
It's one of we have this thing, my buddy Chuck, he goes, I'm like a I'm a 4 handicap. He's gonna say I'm a 3 handicap. And then there was this one time, and he says I sandbagged him. So sandbagging basically just means it's like, because if you're gambling for money, if I'm a 3 handicap, I want to say, oh no, my handicap's 8.
Okay.
Because we're playing for money, it's technically like cheating. First of all, I wasn't sandbagging them. He'll tell the story differently. And I just happened to be playing really, really, really well that day. So I took all their money, me and my buddy. And then ever since then, he's like, you fucking sandbagger. He's like, he goes, I know you're a lower handicap than that.
I did that in pool once. I got invited to this party.
Yeah.
I was measuring these guys for suits.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't you come back later? We're going to have dinner and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I like didn't know any of them. And I went to this guy's house, and he had a beautiful pool table in his basement. And we're 16. And he's like, yeah, we're going to do a little tournament. You know, it's like, I think it was going to be like $30 a person. I was like, okay.
You're a good pool player?
I mean, I didn't think I was, but turns out, you know, I cleaned them all out.
Nice.
And they were all looking at me
You
like.
hustled them.
The guy was the host. His friends were like, oh, you brought in a pro and blah, blah. And I just happened, you know those days where you just happen to make shots?
Yeah.
I'm sure in golf it's the same thing where you're on.
Yeah. So you have good days and bad days. Some days like, yeah.
Apparently I had a really good day because even when I left, I was like.
And you were just fucking cleaning it.
Yeah.
Do you ever make suits for gangsters?
No.
I feel like you're lying to me, but that's okay. That'd be interesting. Any last closing? Do you want to put your Instagram handle for people if they want to go check you out? Or
Sure, it's Atelier_1200. That's the one.
Okay. And so anyone, if you're looking for any type of custom suits, custom coats, basically just beautiful pieces of fabric, hit up Johnny Mills.
Yeah, if you can't find something that you like the way it fits, like that's another reason why people come and check us out.
Like I've never purchased anything. I haven't bought a suit in a long time, but I'm telling you, like right now, I will 100%.
Oh, I have ideas
contacting
already.
you. I can't wait to hear them. I will 100% be contacting you to be like, I need to get a fucking beautiful piece. But thanks very much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. I enjoyed the conversation we're having today.
Yeah, it was good.
And Freemium Podcast. Check us out on Instagram, on YouTube, all the social media platforms. Blah blah blah. Thank you very much.